So it has been a couple weeks into the expansion, and the cloud of negativity over the Azerite gear just doesn't seem to stray. I mean, I guess depending where you look at it, where your sources are. Overall, I have to say that the Azerite power system was super exciting at the beginning, with you being able to craft your own builds, triple stack in certain traits, and traits being better than the item level itself allowed us to customize our builds. But it seems that with Blizzard, with them dumbing down a lot of the powerful traits that make exciting builds that even change your gameplay, it really does come down to picking the most boring traits because they essentially do the most amount of damage, which does not feel exciting. There's also the issue of gear dropping in raids, especially the Azerite gear. Blizzard stated that this is why gear drops, or at least Azerite gear, drops far more often in raids than it does in Mythic Plus dungeons, is to give raiding content a little bit more of an upper hand over other pieces of PvE content in BFA. When in the past, in Legion, Mythic Plus dungeons and raids went hand in hand, right now in BFA, Mythic Plus dungeons and raids basically have to either compete, or you have to nerf the rewards of one to make the other more lucrative or more of an opportunity. Which is why Blizzard did not want Mythic Plus dungeons to be able to drop you willy-nilly all the Azerite gear, so you would have to have a reason to go and do your raids. And even in raids, there's still an issue of loot tables. For example, I have 2 bosses that can drop me a headpiece, 2 bosses that can drop me a chest piece, but only 1 boss that can drop me shoulders. And 3 weeks in a row being unlucky really makes me dislike the RNG factor of the game. Essentially, you either do Mythic Plus dungeons, where there's a chest at the end of the week that has a chance to drop you Azerite gear, and by god it better drop, because I'm so tired of getting gear with mastery on it as an Outlaw main, or you get lucky with the raid tier, where the loot table is kind of shifted against you, with me being very unlucky to get the shoulder pieces that I need. So RNG sucks in your gear, and a lot of people are very not excited about that. The other thing people are not excited about is boring traits. Currently, as of right now in BFA October 4th, a lot of the best DPS, healing, and tanking traits are the boring ones, whether you're looking at the non-spec specific or even spec specific. Most of the better traits are very passive. They don't add or change your gameplay like a lot of the gear back in Legion did. Back in Legion, when you got your tier sets or legendaries, you adjusted your playstyle, your talents, depending on the gear you were running, and it was super exciting to have specific builds that functioned and had so much synergy. But right now in BFA, most of the better traits that apply the most amount of damage, for example, are going to be passive. Like, your character just randomly throws daggers, or a raptor appears and puts a bleeder on the enemy, or you just get an agility stacking buff. They don't actually do anything different. Now, there are some builds, if you decide to go for like the triple snake eyes build, which is actually difficult and super fun, one of the most challenging builds I've ever ran as an Outlaw Rogue, and I'll have a link for you guys just so you know exactly what I'm talking about, just so you can see what the build was all about and what it entails. This build was the most crazy build that I've ever put together, but the damage you could put out was insane if you were masterful with your rogue. We need more stuff like this, not a lot of the boring traits. Again, link down below if you want to see what the build was like and the difficulty of it. So people aren't happy with the RNG of their traits, not enough traits, can't get enough traits, and when you do get traits, they are pretty boring. What can Blizzard do? What can they do to fix it? Well, Blizzard came out and they made a blue post as of recent on all the things they're going to be doing to fix Azerite gear. And honestly, it's a big sigh of relief for me because I'm so happy that they are addressing the issues. So what did Blizzard exactly say? There's a couple bulletin points, but I'll get to the meat and bones of it. The first statement is, we need to make Azerite armor more available, and yes, that's all I can say is yes, for all types of players, through a method everyone can utilize. So we're actually looking at emissary rewards for that. The plan is to make Azerite armor rewards from emissary quests scale all the way up to 370 based on your item level, which gives everyone a new reliable source for appropriate gear. Further on, we're looking at making some further improvements to the ways emissaries reward gear. But getting more Azerite armor in your hands is the higher priority for the immediate future. I'm so happy that they're going to be doing more Azerite pieces. People have suggested maybe they should do more opportunities for Azerite in Mythic Pluses, maybe more opportunities for a higher item level Azerite, maybe at a Titan Forge, so you can Titan Forge from heroic dungeons and normal dungeons maybe. But I feel that making it through emissaries is going to be a way for people to keep seeing the growth of their character as the character progresses further on. It is a good way of going about it, I feel, and they can scale it with your item level, so you could still get an upgrade even if you're trying to get a 370, 360, maybe even 355, because I still have a shoulder that's 340 item level and I desperately need to replace. So have an emissary, that's a guaranteed piece of gear. I don't even care what Azerite traits it gives me, it's a guaranteed piece of gear that will be given to my character once I complete my emissary. No RNG, no boss loot drops, nothing. And I'm super excited about that. Second statement reads, when we add new Azerite armor in what we're calling BFA Season 2, starting with Siege of Zuldazar, PvP Season, and PvE Season, we're going to add another outer ring to those pieces of gear that has 2 spec-specific trait options for each spec. This effectively means that your favorite traits will be available on a lot more items, while also opening up a lot more options across the scope of all your Azerite pieces. Overall, I'm interested. I'm not really sure how this is going to work, but they're going to add an extra ring on the outer edge to give you 2 spec-specific traits. I wonder if they're going to add brand new traits in that row, or is it going to be a repeat of traits we've seen? But I think it would be awesome to maybe be able to get an Azerite trait that focuses on AoE, but also one that focuses on single target, so you can take it into Mythic Plus dungeons, whether it's a heavy boss fight or a heavy ad phase happening. I think it offers a lot more opportunity and possibility for us to extra customize our characters. So when it comes to customization, I get super happy about that. Last statement goes, we're going to continue working on individual traits themselves. We've done some basic tuning so far, but we're taking lessons from what we've learned from these first iterations forward. The Tides of Vengeance will bring new traits into the pool that reflect that. Our goal is to make the more generic traits to be decent middle of the road options for when you want to use a single piece for multiple situations or specs, but make sure that spec specific options, which are generally more interesting traits, win out in the respective environments. Honestly, this makes me super happy, just to know that they do want middle of the pack be that middle of the pack traits, and to give a little bit more emphasis on spec specific. Now, of course, this sounds so good, and I cannot overstate, this sounds really good on paper. Whether Blizzard actually is able to successfully do this or not, we will see in the future, but I do have my hopes up. And of course, I will be hanging out on PTR a hell of a lot more often now, whenever anything new comes on Rogues, to be able to update you guys on everything that is coming out and showcase you everything that is going to be happening in the game, at least on the Rogue side when this is Azerite traits. I feel that them addressing that there is an issue is a good step forward, and I feel the Blizzard statement is hitting a lot of the notes that I want hit in terms of the Azerite pieces of gear and how to fix it. I feel like they are moving in the right direction, or a direction that at least I would move into as well, so I could see myself performing the same actions they have. There's definitely a lot of holes with the Azerite system. It needs to be a lot stronger. It is one of the biggest systems of Battle for Azeroth, and so far, for some people, it has been very underwhelming. Depending on your trait, depending on your class, you might have had some of the most boring builds you ever could have that don't really change your gameplay. And that's not right. That's probably not how the system should have been from the beginning. Whether it's late, whether it's early, Blizzard at least at one point realized this to make the statement, and it's a good thing. I want Battle for Azeroth to be a good game. I want the expansion to be great, and I want the Azerite system, and I really do mean it, I want the Azerite system to be a good system. I want it to be a system that people get excited about. I want people to be able to craft their own builds from different traits. I guess I'm just hoping it's not too late, and hopefully Blizzard changes will inspire a lot more people to try the game again, to come back and give the whole Azerite system a try, to maybe allow a little bit more for the much needed creativity with the AP system. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts on Blizzard's response. Do you think this and their steps that are taken forward is going to be enough to save the Azerite power system, or do you guys think it's really just kind of downhill from there and you're just kind of waiting for classic WoW at this point? I honestly cannot wait to see what they do. I'm super excited, and I'm hoping for the best here. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Links down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a like, join our Discord group, follow me on Twitter. I don't really get to throw that social network stuff at the end of you guys, but I felt like at the end of this video it might be worth. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And I'll see all of you in the next one.